Now, first of all, I'd like to talk to George Frankland, who is the Game Secretary of the Borough Park Bowling Club, and later on we'll have a word with the club captain. Yes, club captain, isn't it, George?
Club captain, yes, that's right, John.
Ernie Douglas. Now, George, first of all, if I could just ask you, when was the club founded?
Well, in actual fact, the meeting took place on October the 8th, 1926, when 21 bowls enthusiasts got together at the Literary Institute in Redcar. This building is still there, incidentally, one of the few that still remain in the High Street. And it was agreed at that meeting that they should form a bowling club. And the outcome was, within weeks, they had it arranged. The town council agreed to give them the use of the green and the wood for 12 and 16 per head per year. And the membership fee was set at 15 shillings a year. And it's rather amusing to read in the minutes that this 15 shillings was paid in instalments.
Yes. And on today's costs, what would you think the membership fee would be?
Well, if you take a low-paid worker in those days, it would be a week's wages for him.
I wonder what folks would say if they had to pay a week's wages for playing bowls at this time.
By comparison, we pay now £2.50 membership and £10 green fee. But the pensioners pay only £5.
Now, who was the first president of the...
Well, this is rather interesting. The first president, and he was president for the first 4 years, was a man by the name of Albert Chaplin, who was the licensee of the Swan Hotel at Redcar. And consequently, all the meetings were held at the Swan Hotel. And I'm sorry to say that this is the only time, the nearest we've been, to having a bar of our own.
You've got plenty of bar members, but no bar.
Very many of them, yes.
And now, were you in a league immediately when the club was formed?
Well, when the club was formed, they joined the Cleveland League. In 1927 was the first year operating, and they joined the Cleveland League. And they were members of that league until 1936.
And the North Yorkshire EBA League, did that come later?
The North Yorkshire EBA League was founded in 1936, and this was the time when they opted out from the Cleveland League and joined the North Yorkshire League.
And I believe that the club has had some successes in the North Yorkshire League.
Yes, the first year they became champions, and since then, 3 more times in 44, 49, and latterly in 1968.
And has the club supplied any presidents of the league?
Yes, we have supplied as many as 7 presidents during the course of the club's history.
That's very good indeed. I've heard that there is a Marshall Shield competition, which is a county competition for clubs in Yorkshire. Has the Borough Park Club done fairly well in this competition?
Well, in the early days, so far as the records go, it doesn't appear that they've entered into the Marshall Shield competition with any enthusiasm until the year 1967, when we were beaten in the final. In 1975, we won it. And in the last 8 years, we've been beaten in the final twice, beaten in the semi-final twice, and beaten in the quarter-final once.
My goodness, nearly always the bridesmaids.
Exactly.
And what about county honours in the way of presidents?
Well, we had a county president in 1936, who was a man named Albert Million. And I remember as a boy that the quip at that time was that they had 1,040,000 members in the club. And then latterly we had Clem Brown, who became president of the league in county in 1967. And I'm pleased to say, although our outspoken and rather controversial person, he is still very much respected in the club, and has done an awful lot during his time in the club by way of getting fellows into the county team.
Now, have you any county players in the club at present, or any?
Well, during the course of the years, we've always had county representation, as far as I can find. And at the moment in the club, we have 12 county badge players.
Oh, that's excellent, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the social side of the club, do you find, is this important do you think, to the
Well,
players?
it's always been one of the beads in my bonnet was that the social side was equally as important as the playing side. We always play to win, obviously, but the social side I consider very important too. And going back into club history again, right from 1927 till the outbreak of war, they always had an annual dinner dance or dinner whist drive, whatever. And in fact, in 1928, a rather amusing record is that it was to be 4 shillings per person to go to this whist drive and dance. And lamentably, in the next meeting, a loss was reported of 38 shillings. Whether they had a whip round to get the 38 shillings back, I wouldn't really know.
And then after the war, did they continue with any socials?
Well, after the war, we didn't get started again until 1968. And I'm pleased to say that after the 1968 dinner, which was a huge success, we continued each year onwards and had dinners each year. And then last year, we had a dinner followed by a disco, a Buckian disco, which proved an enormous success. The object of this disco in particular was to get the younger members interested, socially as well as playing. And we're hoping to continue with the annual dinner, plus the odd disco every now and again during the course of each year.
Oh, thanks very much.